by him not being around anymore. And as in not being around, that he's not wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
That he is actually focusing on what's important in his life, and that's being his family and his career and everything else. And he knew when his time was to be done, and he moved on.
Okay. John Fate.
Oh, what can I say about that guy? I think it's another scenario of missed opportunity. I mean, I know that I know him personally, and he has been a good friend. I just think that he, on too many occasions, let things become his concern, that things didn't need to be concerned, but his heart was in the right place. The only reason he's not wrestling anymore is because I think the wrestling business was not something that he should be in. He is good at what he was a good performer, as in the ring, but the backstage politics is something that he's oil and water with. Throughout his time in SSW, for the most part, he was an asset. Asset, as in he was very beneficial to have around. You know, he had that potential, but I just think that he didn't have the same mindset.
Okay. The Prodigy.
He's a good guy. Sometimes tries to do too much or be concerned with things that he just shouldn't be concerned with. I know he's been through a lot and made it through all of it intact. But you know, I think sometimes if you're not confident in your own abilities, then don't do it. Okay? And I think that when push came to shove, the reality set in that, you know, how long can I keep doing this and still, you know, have a family and, you know, keep my bones intact and all that type of thing. And, you know, for instance, I mentioned, well, why not be an in-ring talent and things like that. And he does make a valid point, is that, you know, it's a step down. I don't maybe necessarily agree with that, but ultimately in the end, that's his decision.
Chris Black.
I had high hopes for Chris Black. I know that when he started working with SSW, I think he was being groomed to be a referee. If I remember, I had heard correctly with other promotions. We gave him an opportunity. Actually became the SSW champion. And probably, I don't know if it was his first title that he held, but I think that he, of that era, was probably had the most potential. But I think he too was one of those people that just decided real life was a little more important. And the only problem that I've had with Chris Black over the years is the fact that he's usually like one of the last guys in the door, sometimes even after the show starts. And it's hard to book someone and use them when it seems like they're unreliable. And he's a great in-ring worker, but just from that aspect, he's been unreliable for me.
Okay. Jack Spade.
Jack Spade is one of the most underrated wrestlers in the area. When he is in the ring, he is one of the most entertaining guys. I may disagree with the way that he goes about it sometimes, but that notwithstanding, he's a great guy in the ring, outside of the ring, backstage, and personally that I've known him. I just think he's too hard on himself, and I think he doesn't give himself enough credit, and I also think that too many people don't see his potential. I think that he could be so much more than he is right now. He is the total package when it comes to being a pro wrestler. He just doesn't have the physique that people want to see, I guess.
Last but not least, Devin Diamond.
I try not to think about him, actually.
Me too.
So, yeah. You know, I started at the very beginning saying that, you know, I feel that we've been kindred spirits, although we've taken different paths on many different occasions. One of my best friends and one of my worst enemies over the years, but ultimately we're still here. Hard to work with, and hard not to work with. But in the end, I wouldn't want to work without him.
All right, and that brings us to our final question: is what does 2012 hold for SSW Entertainment?
Lords of the Ring, in one way or another, that will come to fruition. I would really like to see Headlock and Hunger come back. I was always intent on having SSW Entertainment work with more than one group. Right now we're only working with Kenosha Pro Wrestling, which is of course Ryan Cross's organization. And I would really love to see us branch out to more. And if anybody out there is intending on starting anything in the near future, that I would just like to hint that you're probably not going to find a better guy to go to than myself when it comes to running wrestling events.
And what can we expect to see on SYBERSLAM in the near future?
As of right now, SYBERSLAM is just going to be focused on a retrospective of everything that SSW has done in the past. I'd also like to put some of our video footage out there, for instance, headlock and hunger events and matches and things like that people haven't seen, because it hasn't been even made into a DVD or ever seen since the people were sitting in the seats when the events happened. Like I said, I think that's probably one of my biggest failing points over the history of SSW, is not getting a lot of our footage out there for people to see and enjoy when it's all sitting, on tapes in my closet or on the hard drives in my computer. But I would say that technology has finally caught up to a point in time where I actually can do that which I had envisioned for the past 8 years. Because like I said earlier, even my computer at the time couldn't handle standard definition video processing. Now I have an HD camera, we're shooting in HD, and really other than just the time to sit down and pull the old 8mm tapes, which you have to do analog 2 hours at a time, other than that, that's the only thing standing in the way of trying to get a lot of that stuff out there and let people finally see the fruits of our labor for so many years. You will be seeing a lot more of SSW in 2012.
All right, well that does it for this edition of the Diamond Exchange. I want to extend my greatest thanks to you, RJ Daniels, for being my guest, and I want to thank all of you for taking the time to watch this. We'll see you on the next Diamond Exchange.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Diamond Exchange with myself and my guest, RJ Daniels.
I want to thank you very much for having me on your debut edition of the Diamond Exchange, of course.
Thank you for agreeing to it. And ladies and gentlemen, on the next edition of SYBERSLAM, we're going to announce who is the next person to be interviewed by myself on the Diamond Exchange.
Of course, and also we're going to do an in-depth recapping and looking into the last Kenosha Pro Wrestling event, of course, being the executive overseer that you are. It was quite a chaotic event, but albeit a successful one, of course.
They do not understand how much paperwork they create for me.
Well, working with Ryan Cross and running events, it's usually a headache. I should know. I used to do it.
I did buy stock in Advil, so.
Yeah, that sounds like a good choice. But at this time, we're going to conclude this edition of SYBERSLAM, and we want to invite you to visit our website at sswonline.com, which will take you directly to our Facebook page, where you can scan this little code thingy back here. And of course, we want to get your comments, questions, and concerns for future editions of SYBERSLAM. For instance, other people you'd like to see on the Diamond Exchange, wrestlers that would be in the spotlight, favorite matches for SSW epics, and so on.
We always encourage fan interaction with SYBERSLAM.
Absolutely. It's always been one of our mottos. By the fans, for the fans. Something different. But anyways, that concludes this edition. I'm RJ Daniels.
I'm Devin Diamond.
Thank you all for watching SSW SYBERSLAM.
That's
Does that
good.
work?
I think we should leave the impact thing. I think
Microphone poked me in the eye.
I have to see this.